They say we are free, free to choose, free to dream, free to become. But what if that freedom has been dressed up like a mannequin in a shop window, presented for admiration, yet never meant to be touched? What if we have mistaken options for liberation and noise for choice? I do not speak today as a preacher nor a rebel, but as someone who once believed I had to earn my right to simply be. And if you too have felt like your life has been one long audition, let this be your moment to exhale. Here we ask, what does it mean to be free truly? Not just in body, not just in possessions, but in soul. It began with a whisper on the wind, as though the trees themselves remembered a time before the world became a performance, a time when to live was not to produce, when to be was not to be measured. And in that morning light, with nothing but fresh breath of morning dew in my face and the sky unhurried above me, I thought of freedom. Not the one we chant in songs or hoist in slogans, but the quiet kind. The kind that lets you wake up and choose to be whoever you are that day. A painter on Monday, a farmer by Tuesday, a woman who sings to herself in the mirror and doesn't feel silly for it. I dreamt of the freedom to say, no, not today, without fear. To travel to Bahamas by nightfall, not because I'm wealthy, but because I am unbound. Let us talk about the illusion of choice, because beneath that dream, a shadow forms. Capitalism has offered us the illusion of choice. 100 cereals to pick from, but not the right to hunger gently. 1,000,000 paths to chase, but not the right to be still. We are told we are free, so long as our dreams are profitable, our identities palatable, and our lives productive. Freedom has been rebranded into lifestyle, brushed with a sheen performance, measured in engagement, monetized through relatability. Even rebellion wears designer now. The anti-system becomes the algorithm. The revolution, aesthetic. We scroll past curated versions of freedom. The cabin in the woods, the barefoot bakery girl, the minimalist in linen. But no one asks, who profits from our longing? This is not freedom. It is fantasy sold in installments. Freedom cannot exist where the mind is not its own. We are taught from birth to obey without questioning. Schools reward memorization over wonder. In pulpits where to doubt is to fall, and in nations where to speak is to risk. And we all call this order. We inherit beliefs like heirlooms, passed down from people who meant well but never asked, does this still fit the soul of today? Like wearing your great grandmother's corsets in a world that no longer requires tightness. We learn what to believe before we learn how to think. And so, our minds are shaped not by truth but by tradition. They hand us systems dressed as scripture, expectations laced in duty, and histories that omit the blood. To think freely is often seen as betrayal. But what is more faithful than seeking your own understanding? Rest is not laziness, it is reclamation. We were not born to grind, to prove, to package ourselves into profitable profiles. We were born to taste mangoes in the sun, to sit by rivers and forget the time, to plant seeds not for markets but for marvels. But the world demands performance. Even our peace must be picturesque. We are expected to brand our freedom, to turn healing into hustle, to show receipts for our joy. What if we could walk away from it all and be enough? What if one left a law firm and raised goats in the hills, and that was seen not as failure but as freedom? What if we measured success in size, not salary?
It is nearly impossible to shoot nowadays because of how heavy the rains are outside. As you can see, it is almost flooding out here. The rain started like an hour ago. Right now it's around 12 noon and it doesn't seem like it's gonna stop anytime soon. We are grateful for rain, but yo,
Freedom is not the loud clatter of escape. It is the soft refusal. It is saying, "This doesn't sit right with my soul," and choosing otherwise. True freedom is radical in its gentleness. It does not seek applause. It does not demand explanation. It is choosing a slower path in a world that worships speed. It is choosing obscurity over spectacle, presence over performance. And sometimes, freedom is not about leaving the system, but about not letting the system live inside you. Real freedom begins in stillness. To sit quietly with your thoughts and wonder, what if they were truly mine? To choose your faith, not inherit it. To relearn history, not recite it. To be governed by wisdom and not fear. To be unafraid of beginning again. Because maybe freedom isn't loud. Maybe it is gentle, a whisper in the woods, a thought you finally dared to think. Maybe it is in deleting that app. Maybe it is in lighting a candle and not filming it. Maybe it is in the refusal to make a brand out of your becoming. Freedom is not always grand. Sometimes it is a soft no, a walk to the river, a poem not posted, a dinner eaten slowly. It is the courage to become new again and again. It is being unashamed of simplicity. It is knowing you are allowed to live ideas, jobs, cities, stories. It is knowing you are not obligated to suffer just because your ancestors did. It is asking, what if I am not behind? What if I am just free? And then comes the twist. What if you were never meant to fit into this world as it stands? What if the unrest, the discomfort, the ache for more was not a flaw but a compass? What if you are not lost but simply remembering? So, may we be brave enough to think again, to begin again, to be free, not in rebellion, but in return. Return to softness, return to truth, return to self. That perhaps is the most radical act of all.
Tunaongea kila raincoat.